If you are a tech savvy person, or maybe just someone who connects with technology really well, you may have heard of some people like the trollers and on the YouTube comments and other people in the same industry calling out Apple's customers as ice sheeps. So, who do they mean by ice sheeps and who are they talking about? Basically, ice sheeps in their view are people who buy Apple's products continuously without taking in the time to research or taking in the time to consider the products made by the competitors who may produce values that are cheaper and that they invest very little time and effort in making a rational purchase decision. While Macs can be great for developers and content producers, and iPhones are for photography, in my opinion, how many Apple fans do you think are able to point out to its actual benefits other than just saying quote unquote ecosystem? Apple isn't the only company that has or at least had such a heavily trusted customer base. There are so many companies like this across all the different industries, and since I'm from the tech industry, I'm taking the example of Apple. How do you think these companies even manage to build such a cult like brand or image amongst us and build such high rates of returning customers? My name is Harshan Mohammed and I'll be your host today. If you like this content by the end of this video, be sure to like this video, hit subscribe to view more content like this, and visit my website at harsher.in. So without any further ado, let's begin. Let me ask you a question. Imagine yourself running a clothing business. Do you think it is easy to convince a random stranger walking by your area to buy your t-shirt, or is it easier to sell it to someone you know? I mean, not necessarily your family or friends, although they'll be the first ones and the most likely ones to buy them. When I say someone you know, I mean the people who can relate to your values and goals and not necessarily your product most of the time, because products can change, evolve over time easily and sometimes even quickly if the company that we're talking about is highly reactive. But what takes time or what doesn't normally change is a person or the brand's core values. In general circumstances, most people don't buy from people, or at least don't come back to buy from people that they don't age, know, be trust, or see relate to. We share our values through communication, and when we talk about communicating through messages, there are just two types. A. Copy, which is text aimed at selling a product or service or inspiring users to take an action, like in a website. And B. Content, which is any message that aims at building relationships. YouTube, Instagram, Netflix, Medium, and Twitter are some examples of places where you can find content, while Airbnb, Trello, and OpenDoor.com are some examples of where you can find copies. Speaking of relationships, none of us count the benefits in a relationship. I mean, you don't count the number of nights you've spent with your best friend or with your significant other. You don't really sign a contract before borrowing money from the other person because you already trust them so much so that you can predict what they'll do next and that you can even forgive the shortcomings if they do. The same can be applied for companies. Samsung, although does not share the same level of trust and reputation as Apple, they won so many hearts after replacing the faulty explosive Samsung Galaxy Note devices that they had manufactured, and they openly admitted their fault. Just showing up every day, honestly, is more than half the battle. Once you've won the trust of the other person or the other party, you're only a few steps away from attaining success. Every product in this world is advertised, whether it is free or paid, you watch it in the media or not, or you know it or not. And I mean this applies to everything, including onions, tomatoes, and Tesla. Why do you think even brands that make ridiculously simple products like a cookie or a shampoo invest so much of money in getting your favorite actors, postmen, or singers in their TV commercials? After all, in how many ways do you think you can eat a biscuit or apply a shampoo? The goal there is not to tell a remarkable story, but the goal is to gain as many eyeballs as they can into their brand. Brands don't want to look The brands don't want potential customers to look at them as strangers. These great brands want you to look at them as normal, regular friends that they can trust and relate to. These days, social validation has become a big deal. If your best friend endorsed a product, it is far more likely that you would buy the same product than if your favorite celebrity did the same thing. And even if your best friend is not really good at acting. Some great investor once said, as humans, we are generally not rational actors. We are only a part of a herd. In this information age, influencing people and gaining their attention has been more important than it has ever been. And I hope this video helped you in gaining some insight.